Hi folks, my name's Tom. You're watching High Rant District. Today I want to talk about the album Marquee Moon by Television. It's an album that came out in 1977 on Elektra. Classic album. This is a 1977 original from Elektra on the green butterfly label that they've got. So this is the version of the record I'm familiar with. So a couple of weeks ago, there was an announcement that Rhino Records, as part of their Hi-Fi series or High Fidelity series, they were putting out an audiophile version of Marquee Moon. How should I phrase it? I was going to say I don't have a lot of records, classified or marketed as audiophile, but boy, maybe I only have one or two others. But I've had a lot in the past, and they've never resonated with me, and so they don't stick around. So anyway, I was like, all right, Marquee Moon, it's a great album. I'm kind of interested in what this would be like. So as soon as I heard about it, I ordered it. A few days after that, I see a YouTube video clip of Kevin Gray, being the guy who cuts the record, being interviewed, and he talks about how he was unfamiliar with the record, and one of the things he did during the cutting was he brought the highs down and he brought the bass up a bit. And I'm like, what? That doesn't sound right. Why would you do that? And but Television, I mean, the sound, and I don't know their third album, which came out sometime this decade or so. They had two records, one right after the other in '77. I think '78 is the other one. And their first one was far and away better than the second one. Second one's a little bit polished, but anyway, when I heard that he was like dialing down the highs and bringing up the bass or the low, I was like, wow, that doesn't sound right. The sound of Television is kind of it's kind of up here. It's kind of sharper. Tom Verlaine's voice is kind of warbly, and it's got like a higher pitched sound to it. I'm like, man, this doesn't sound right what he's doing. And then so I pulled out their second album. I think it was from '78. Yeah, '78. Adventure. I don't care too much for this. I hardly listen to it. It's not as engaging as the first album to me. The songs are. I mean, maybe this speaks to the Neanderthal in me, but the songs are a little bit more polished. But still, their sound is kind of like up here, as far and I think it's kind of like the guitar tones maybe somewhat match Tom Verlaine's voice, which is kind of warbly. After listening to this, going, yeah, if Kevin Gray is cutting off the highs and bringing up the bass a little bit, bringing it more, I guess, bringing it more prominent. Cutting the highs in particular, I was like, nah, that's not going to sound right. So even though I had ordered it a few days ago, I sent an email to Rhino going, yeah, cancel this. And they didn't. The shipping label had already printed and they weren't canceling it. And they were like, yeah, you got to send it back if you want to cancel it. So eventually it shows up. And, it shows up. Here's the new version, kind of a shiny cover, thick spine. It's got... gatefold inside. The original is not a gatefold. And one thing I want to touch on too is like if you look at this, see how much taller the reissue is, and make sure it's lined up. How much wider? It doesn't fit in a regular sleeve. This reissue. That's some kind of bullshit to begin with. I mean, just make it a normal size sleeve. But the whole, it's pretty thick cardboard. The original, less so. It's just a normal record cover. I'm not a big fan of the notion that you have to have ostentatious packaging. Large, thicker. I mean, it just takes more room on the shelf, and this is also going to stick up higher than other records. It's I don't understand the choice to do that. But anyway. So when this reissue arrives, I'll let it sit for a day, and I listened again to my original, and then also kind of pulled out because when I listen to Marquee Moon, for whatever reason, it makes me think of the Modern Lovers. So I listen to that too. And Television is already a great sounding record. Modern Lovers from 76? 76 is a really fantastic sounding record. And just while I was listening to Modern Lovers, I was like wondering to myself, man, like it sounds so it's such a fantastic sounding album. The music is wonderful, absolutely wonderful. And all I can imagine, like I was thinking, I was listening to it, like on cases where like the guitar is really up front, or the vocals, at a point are like really up front. I'm thinking, man, what would a Kevin Gray or an audiophile version, do to this presentation? So anyway, next day, I throw on the glossy, super fucking glossy version, the new version, the Rhino version of Marquee Moon, and drop the needle, and right away it sounded wrong. I thought something was wrong. I mean, it sounded so wrong that I thought something was wrong with my record player or my system in some way. And so, like, after like a half a minute, I just stopped it, took it off, put it on my original copy of Marquee Moon, which sounded, normal like it should. The original Marquee Moon has, in the way that I know it, which is only on vinyl from the original version, is not sure how to describe it. It's kind of sharp. Like there's a lot of tension. Like there's parts that build, guitar parts that build. I think like yeah, the guitar parts build. There's tension, and the guitar sound is kind of sharp. It's not. I don't know where people who say it's shrill are coming from, but it's kind of sharp, and it's kind of here. It's higher octaves, I guess you would say. And then when I put on the reissue, like right away, it was like dull. It just, the life, felt like the life had been sucked out of it. So, I took it off, and I played the first side of my original again, listened to it, and then went back to the Rhino, put it on, and just the whole thing is, it's kind of lifeless. And I think this, and this could very well be a me thing, but for the audiophile records that I've had in the past, they they sound to me sterile in a way. They have kind of a sameness sound to it, and I could be talking out of my ass, but that's never stopped me before. Like if Kevin Gray is mastering something, because he masters everything, it seems like in an audiophile presentation, it seems like the guitars have to be a certain level, the bass, the vocals have to be in front a bit, and the drums have to be prominent. You have to hear like every little thing on the hi-hats, and quite often that's not how the record originally sounded. So when somebody is creating a record that's going to be part of a presentation that is branded and marketed as audiophile, I feel like there's a level of homogeny going on where it just really sounds lifeless to me. I mean, my gear is not, my gear's not audiophile, but it's not crap either. My turntable is, near perfect condition Technics SL1210 Mark II. Cartridge is an Audio-Technica ML540. The phono preamp is part of the Rogue Audio Sphinx version 2. So the preamp in there is based on their Triton preamp. So it's all going through, a quality phono preamp in a quality amplifier that's got tubed preamp section. So it plays, on the slightly warm side of neutral. And my speakers are Zoo Audio DWs from about 2 years ago with Jupiter copper caps. So the presentation from those are on the slightly warmer side of neutral as well. Not overwhelming, but it's a presentation I like. The audiophile marketed records that I've had in the past, they feel like to me like they're dumbed down. They're like this record is a what I would consider a safe space for audiophiles. And when I say safe space, to be clear, I'm being derisive. I mean, a safe space is, how do you describe it? It's sort of like it's a place where you would put babies to not be offended by things. And you just kind of dumb things down so that they're placid. And I think that's what happened here. The second side was a little bit better as far as not being a crazy deviation, I think, from the original side too, but still, just lacking the life. The life was sucked out of this record, in my opinion. I don't know what I would have to do to go, yeah, this is better. I don't know if I need better gear. I don't know if I need to play it at an insanely loud volume, and that's the only way I would hear a marked difference or improvement in the presentation. But this is is not a version I'm gonna spin. I mean, I would never, if I want to hear this record, I'm not gonna reach for the Rhino. It's a safe space for audiophiles, and I feel like that's a lot of audiophile marketed records. Maybe less so on the MoFis I've heard, but if you have a classic record, if you have an old record, and you have a good, you have good tapes, just do like the OJCs used to do back in the 80s. Whoever the guy was that cut those, he's just like, play the tape. You got the original master tape, hit play, and then cut the thing. And don't fuck around with how it sounds. I'm not a master engineer by any means, but I listen to music and I love music, and for the music I love, like this is a record I love. Man, this is a really bad presentation of it. I would strongly recommend against it. I don't know what later reissues of this record sound like. The original sounds wonderful to me, and it's just going to remain my go-to. I want to say I was disappointed in the Rhino, but after I heard that Kevin Gray interview talking about cutting down the highs and boosting the lows, I felt like I knew what was coming. But I saw enough people online saying, yeah, this is fantastic, this is the best I've ever heard. It was so overwhelmingly positive generally, but I wonder if they've heard an original. It's not this, it sounds completely different. That's the bottom line. And maybe this new version sounds a way that you like it, because maybe you need to have your record sound like it's from a safe space. But it's not a good version of the record. I do not recommend it. I don't know what else I was going to say. Man, it was just disappointing. I hope I hope they never do an audiophile version of Modern Lovers. It's a great sounding record too. What are you going to do? Thanks for watching. Catch you later.